Hello everyone. Long time no see. And welcome to my new film about from one of the remotest places on Earth called the seventh continent and end of the world, the Antarctic. Nowadays you can visit the Antarctic by taking one of expedition cruise ships that will take you to the Antarctic Peninsula where you can experience the beauty and wilderness in comfort, safety or even luxury of the cruise liner. The Antarctic is a vast wilderness, where rugged terrain, snow, ice and the sea collides with diverse, thriving wildlife. A place of awe-inspiring beauty and serenity. From the Antarctic Peninsula in Snow Hill to South Georgia, the Falkland Islands and Patagonia, visiting here is to explore one of the world's last frontiers. Antarctica reaches a level of beauty that is unmatched in its simplicity, flawlessness and fragility. Your voyage to the end of the Earth yields unparalleled adventure in every sense of the word. The best time to visit Antarctica is during the southern hemisphere summer months of November to March, when the days are longest and wildlife is most active. February and March are particularly good for whale watching. Although Antarctica is the coldest continent on Earth, during the tourist season November to March you can expect mild temperatures on the Antarctic Peninsula, around 0 degrees Celsius or 34 degrees Fahrenheit. On a hot day it could even go up to 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Most people book their Antarctica cruise about a year in advance, but if you want to visit during Christmas, New Year, or much of January with your family or friends it's recommended to book even earlier. Expedition cruise vessels are a world apart from your average ocean cruise liner, small, agile and exclusively designed for intrepid exploration, built to withstand the most extreme environs and climatic conditions around the Southern Ocean. There are now over 70 Antarctica cruise ships sailing across the Southern Ocean to the wondrous White Continent, a number that has been steadily increasing each year due to the gaining popularity of expedition cruising. Ships can range anywhere in size from tiny sailing yachts with fewer than 25 guests to traditional ocean liners with over 1,000 guests. But crucially those Antarctic ships with more than 500 guests on board are not permitted to make landings with guests unable to set foot on Antarctica itself, merely allowing them to see the continent and wildlife from afar. I recommend checking antarcticacruises.com for exclusive offers and thorough comparison of most of expedition vessel brands like Quark, Swan Hellenic, Hurtigruten, Scenic or Atlas. Small Antarctica cruise ships for 100 to 300 guests such as Seabourn Venture, large enough to safely and comfortably cope with the icy and adverse sailing conditions prevalent at higher latitudes, yet small and nimble enough to navigate icebergs and access Antarctica's remotest reaches, facilitating extraordinary, close-up wildlife encounters and providing passengers with a privileged view of the most breathtaking wilderness on the planet. I was fortunate to go on an expedition cruise to Antarctica on one of those vessels. Typically it sounds like you want to actually get off the ship and walk on land. In order to do that you must book a cruise with a smaller ship. There is an Antarctic treaty that limits many things about visits to Antarctica. One of the regulations is that the only ships allowed to make landfall are ships that carry fewer than 500 passengers. On your cruise each passenger will be scheduled for 2 activities per day. One was a landfall and the other was a cruise in a zodiac. You will see penguin colonies. There are no barriers between you and the penguins. You are visiting them in their natural habitat. There is sometimes a footpath you are expected to stay on. The rule is that you cannot get closer than 1 yard from wildlife. However, if a penguin approaches you, happens frequently, you are supposed to stop and wait for them to move along. By your day 6 of the cruise you will probably see at least 3,000 penguins spread over 5 different species. You also have probably never seen so many whales in your life. On one of the Zodiac cruises you might get so close up to a humpback whale and look right into its huge eye. You can also encounter several different species of seals. The scenery is so dramatic it doesn't need to be filtered. I took hundreds of pictures of the icebergs we encountered. They are very sculptural. The weather is very changeable, but the crew are constantly monitoring the weather in order to find the best locations for your visit. An expedition cruise is very different from a traditional cruise. The entertainment is usually lectures about Antarctic flora and fauna or navigation or the history of polar exploration. There will be no casino, no disco, no Broadway-style shows. Meals are delicious, but served mostly buffet style and with slightly fewer options than you would get on a larger vessel. Your cabin, depending on line and your budget, will be much smaller and more Spartan than a big ship for the price, but it will be cozy and perfectly adequate. Some ships offer ultra-luxurious suites, 5-star dining, submarine or helicopter trips. The most desirable, and consequently most expensive, time to visit is close to Christmas. Antarctic cruises run from around late October to late February. The penguins lay their eggs and will be roosting in the early part of the cruising season. The chicks will have hatched and be their cutest right around Christmas, and by late February the chicks will be losing their downy feathers and their adult coat will be showing. The chicks are precocious and some will be curious enough to waddle right up to you. There is no shopping, no tourist spots. It's wild, untouched nature. There isn't a pier at most stops. You get to land on Zodiacs and must use boots that you borrow from the ship to walk to the shore. In fact, you must decontaminate your borrowed boots every time you return to the ship. All of this is part of the Antarctic Treaty. It's a way to preserve the unique biome of Antarctica. Expedition vessels are considerably smaller than your typical ocean liner for several reasons. Firstly, they allow access to areas larger ships simply cannot go. Their sleek design, slighter tonnage, and shallower drafts the amount of ship below the water level, making them more agile to respond to opportune whale or dolphin sightings, and better able to maneuver into those shallow harbors and remote coves and bays along Antarctica's coastline where the most pristine landscapes, penguin rookeries, and seal colonies often prevail. Zodiacs are used almost every day to access parts of the destination. Additionally, on several occasions, it is only possible to embark and disembark the ship by Zodiac. Not only are Antarctic cruise ships small in size, but they also host fewer passengers. From just 50 to a maximum 500 guests, with an average of a little more than 100, engendering a genuine feeling of camaraderie and promoting a convivial atmosphere on board with your fellow passengers and crew alike. Indeed, on many of the smaller ships, guests even assemble as a single group for communal meals. What's more, expedition ships often have much higher crew-to-guest ratios than their ocean-going counterparts, leading to a higher level of customer service. This closeness to nature makes for a much more intimate and rewarding expedition experience, affording prolific and personal wildlife encounters, and enhancing the sense of wilderness and solitude in the vast polar landscape. When you combine this close proximity with the fact that shore landing logistics are significantly swifter and easier with smaller groups, this helps to maximize your time ashore, particularly pertinent in Antarctica where only 100 people are permitted to land at any one time, and grants a greater chance of participating in any optional adventure activities, in depth, for longer. Let's cruise past towering icebergs on a Zodiac, set foot on pristine white snow, and sail along the massive mountains. This is one of the world's last truly untouched wildernesses, ready for you to explore. Home to a remarkable diversity of wildlife, the Antarctic Peninsula features thousands of penguins alongside an array of other species such as whales, seals, albatrosses, and various seabirds. The Antarctic Peninsula is one of the most photogenic parts of the continent, while various continental mountain ranges, including the Ellsworth Mountains, highest in Antarctica, and the Transantarctic Mountains, are also breathtakingly beautiful, rewarding those who make the effort to include these farther-flung destinations. Expect amazing icebergs and ice shelf sites in the Ross and Weddell Seas. For those who want to increase the odds of seeing the much-coveted emperor penguin, biggest of all penguins and the only warm-blooded creature besides humans to winter on the Antarctic ice sheets, should consider Weddell Sea or Ross Sea itineraries or specialized wildlife tours in the harsher southern realms. All things considered, any trip to Antarctica, even a luxury cruise spent entirely at sea, is a great adventure, given just where you're traveling. But it's easy to amp up the adventure with guided kayaking or stand-up paddle boarding tours, overnight campouts, mountain climbing, and the like. One of the greatest attractions you will be able to experience during the Antarctic cruise is the Le Maire Channel. It is one of Antarctica's landmark spots and probably the most popular tourist destination on the continent. The serene beauty and outstanding wildlife of the Le Maire Channel has earned it the nickname, Kodak Gap. The channel has since become a standard part of the itinerary for cruising in Antarctica. Not only is it scenic, but the protected waters are usually as still as a lake, a rare occurrence in the storm-racked southern seas, and the north-south traverse delivers vessels close to Petermann Island for landings. The principal difficulty is that icebergs may fill the channel, especially in early season, obliging a ship to backtrack and go around the outside of Booth Island to reach Petermann. A classic route for our expeditions to Antarctica, this iconic waterway serves as the gateway to the southern Antarctic Peninsula. Other popular destinations your cruise will take you to include Elephant Island, Paradise Bay, Scholler Channel, and Gerlache Strait, Antarctic Circle, Deception Island. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Please watch it till the end and enjoy relaxing music. Please let me know in your comment and don't forget to like and subscribe my channel.